All right, let's set the scene. The date is May 5th, 1945. World War II in Europe is breathing its last gasps. Hitler has been dead for 5 days, and the official surrender is just 2 days away. But high up in the Austrian Alps, one of the most bizarre, unbelievable battles of the entire war is about to kick off.
And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Many historians call this the single strangest battle of World War II. As we go through this, you're going to see why. Honestly, it's a story with a plot twist so good, you'd think Hollywood made it up. Because get ready for this, the lineup in this fight is just nuts. On one side, you have a small group of American GIs. Okay, pretty standard. But fighting right there with them, soldiers from the German Wehrmacht, the regular German army. And who were they all trying to protect? A castle full of high-profile French prisoners. And the enemy they're all fighting against together, the fanatical, hardcore Waffen-SS. It makes no sense, right? So you have to be asking, how on earth did that happen? Well, it all starts with the location, a place that looks straight out of a fairy tale, but was hiding a very, very dark secret. This is it, Castle Itter. I mean, look at it. Beautiful, right? Tucked away in the Austrian mountains. But looks can be deceiving. Back in 1943, none other than Heinrich Himmler took one look at this place and decided to turn it into a high-security prison, a branch of the infamous Dachau concentration camp. Its whole purpose was to lock away prisoners the Third Reich considered too valuable to execute, but way too dangerous to ever let free. And just look at who was locked up inside. This was a who's who of pre-war France. We're talking 2 former prime ministers, 2 top military commanders, even Charles de Gaulle's own sister. So when the Nazi regime started to completely fall apart in early May of 45, the SS guards just left. They abandoned the castle. But that wasn't good news for the prisoners. Suddenly, they were isolated, completely vulnerable, and basically a sitting duck for any loyal SS units still roaming the area, who saw them as high-value traitors. So with these VIPs trapped and desperate, help was about to show up from the last place anyone would ever expect. And this is where one of history's most unbelievable partnerships begins to take shape. Okay, so let's meet our 2 main players. On one side, you've got U.S. Army Captain Jack Lee. When a messenger from the castle finally reached him, Lee didn't wait for permission. He basically said, "I'm in," and volunteered to lead what was a completely rogue, off-the-books rescue mission. His counterpart? German Army Major Josef Gangl. Now, Gangl was a career soldier, but he was totally disillusioned with the Nazi regime. In fact, in the final days of the war, he'd actually defied his orders and joined up with the local Austrian resistance to protect civilians from SS death squads. So you have these 2 men, enemies for years, whose paths are about to cross in a huge way. And just when you thought it couldn't get any stranger, it does. The alliance got even weirder. Pictured here are Major Jangl. And, you won't believe this, Kurt Siegfried Schrader, a decorated officer from the SS. Turns out Schrader had been wounded and was recovering nearby, and he'd actually become friendly with the French prisoners. So when the regular SS guards bolted, the prisoners asked him, an SS officer, to help them organize a defense, and he agreed. He even moved his own family into the castle for protection. You just can't make this stuff up. So, the stage is set. The bizarre team is assembled. Let's get to the main event and see how this tiny, cobbled-together force managed to hold out against absolutely insane odds. Captain Lee shows up at the castle with just 14 American soldiers and a single Sherman tank. That's it. They joined up with Major Jangl and about 10 of his Wehrmacht guys, the SS officer Schrader, and the French prisoners themselves, many of whom were old but were absolutely determined to fight. All told, their entire defending force numbered around 36 people. And who were they up against? A force of over 150 veteran Waffen-SS soldiers. These weren't conscripts. They were from a tough Panzer Grenadier division, and they came armed with machine guns, mortars, and even a massive anti-aircraft gun that they were using as artillery. The odds, well, they were grim. The main attack kicked off on the morning of May 5th, and right away, the castle just got pounded. Machine gun fire raked the walls, and those huge anti-aircraft shells were smashing into the stonework. Then, they suffered a huge blow. Early in the fight, their one and only Sherman tank took a direct hit from an 88mm shell and was knocked out. The situation got desperate, fast. Ammunition was running dangerously low, the castle walls were literally starting to crumble, and they knew they couldn't hold out forever. With their defenses failing and no way to call for help, They needed a miracle, and that miracle came in the form of a former French tennis champion, Jean Barotra. In a moment that is pure cinema, he literally vaulted over the castle wall, dodged SS patrols, and ran through a gauntlet of enemy positions to get word to American forces. It was an absolutely heroic, desperate dash that would save everyone. And it worked. Just as it looked like the defenders were about to be completely overrun, Barotra's mission succeeded. American reinforcements arrived, the SS attack was broken, and the prisoners were saved. But the story doesn't quite end there. Incredibly, after all that intense fighting, only one person among the castle's defenders was killed. That person was Major Josef Gangl, the Wehrmacht officer who chose his conscience over his command. He was killed by a sniper while he was trying to pull the former French Prime Minister Paul Reynaud to safety. He died protecting a man who was, until very recently, his enemy. For that incredible act of courage, Major Gangl is remembered today as a national hero in Austria. There's even a street named after him in a nearby town. And what about the American hero, Captain Jack Lee? Well, despite the fact that he acted completely without orders and led a technically unauthorized mission, his incredible bravery earned him the Distinguished Service Cross. That's one of America's highest military honors for valor. It's a testament to his decision to do what was right, not just what he was told. And really, that's what this incredible story is all about. The Battle of Castle Itter is so much more than just a weird historical footnote. It's this powerful reminder that even in the absolute darkest of times, the choices that individuals make still matter. It makes you ask, what makes a person defy years of training and allegiance to stand up for what's right, creating this one brief, shining moment where enemies truly became allies in the very last battle of the war?